Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to episode 6 of Escaping Shadows. Today, we are going to be touching on another difficult topic, so you will see the warning symbol, warning sign that will pop up, letting you know that this is going to be a difficult topic we will be discussing, but we are going to jump into this. We are going to veer away a little bit from the timeline that we've been going on, but not too far because the topic that will be discussed today kind of goes into the timeline as well. Because with this topic, it started when I was young, and even still to today, I struggle at times. So, today we will be talking about body positivity and eating disorders. So, with that being said, grab your drink. Today I've got peach ring water, I think is what it said. Wear some comfy clothes. I'm wearing work clothes. I was painting earlier today. So, and I've got this mug on my shirt for those of you who know who that is. If you don't, this is Rick the Jerk on YouTube. Um, Sit back, relax, and watch me bake some cookies and dinner as I tell you about my struggles and recovery. Okay, here we go. This week, I decided that I really like the idea of you guys seeing me doing things other than just seeing me in the studio. Eventually, we'll probably do some more studio cuts here and there, but for the most part, I think I like giving you guys a look inside of my life of what I do just randomly. Like this, for instance. I had this box of Jiffy baking mix, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to make some cinnamon rolls. Well, I decided not to bake cinnamon rolls, and I ended up making these really yummy cookies. I was very surprised, but they were really good. And apparently, everybody in the house thought so because they were gone by the next day. While I was baking these cookies, I was trying to think of how to do the next timeline video and what we could talk about. And I thought, you know what? Let's talk about something I've always struggled with, and that is me. That is my own mental health and my love of my body. Because let me tell you what, I haven't loved my body at all. As a child, I was pretty thin until about puberty. And I was always the tallest kid in my class until probably about middle school. And about middle school was about the time that I stopped growing upward. I stayed 5'4" for the rest of my life. I am currently 5'4", the same height I was in middle school. And of course, whenever you're young and you're a girl, you are tall and you get made fun of because you're tall. All the other girls were so much shorter than me. I think there was one other person in my class who was the same height as me. But I was bullied a lot growing up for my size as far as my height. And then as I got older, I started getting bullied for my size, as in my weight. Not just my weight or my height. I started getting bullied for my freckles, the fact that I had to have glasses, the fact that my teeth weren't straight, all sorts of things that unfortunately a lot of kids deal with. We get made fun of for anything that anybody can make fun of us for, especially if you're not in the quote unquote popular group. You get picked on. It's horrible and I hate it. And it makes me very thankful that our children are homeschooled and they don't have to deal with that. But I know eventually one day we will put them back into school. And that is something that they're probably going to have to deal with as well. And it just bothers me. Anyways, I digress. So, about the time that I started gaining weight and could not ever get it off, no matter how hard I tried. I would run, I would exercise all the time. I could not lose weight. And it all came around the same time that I went through puberty. It just, it was a horrible thing to be going through that at a very young age, around 10, and then to start dealing with body image issues because none of my clothes were fitting and I was just uncomfortable all the time. So I struggled throughout all of my adolescent, teen years, young adult years, and even to today with my body. It never made sense to me as a child or even teen or young adult how some people could eat whatever they wanted and have quote unquote the perfect body. And I had to limit absolutely everything I could, watch everything that I put into my body, and I was still gaining weight like no other. And it hurt and it did not help with my depression. It did not help with my anxiety that I had going in public places. It just it made life difficult in so many ways. So at a young age, I started trying to think of ways to limit the amount of food that I would consume because in my head, food equaled fat. And I didn't want to be fat. I didn't want to be bullied anymore. I didn't want to be made fun of for anything. But that was the life I was living and I wanted to stop it. So I found a way to, in a kid way, trick my brain to where I would be able to skip meals and my body would not be hungry. So, for an example, if I skipped breakfast today, my body wouldn't be hungry for breakfast tomorrow. If I skipped breakfast and lunch today, my body wouldn't be hungry for breakfast and lunch tomorrow. I don't know if that makes sense, but that is how my brain was working at that time. It was, if I skip this meal, I'm not going to be hungry tomorrow, so I'll be on the right track to where I'm only eating one meal a day. Just so you're aware, that's not healthy at all. In no way, shape, or form is that healthy. So that pretty much progressed until I got to a point where I needed to eat. And so I would eat regular meals just like everybody else was, breakfast, lunch, dinner. And I was still gaining weight nonstop. It just did not stop. And looking back now, I realize, yeah, I was a heavier child, but I was not heavy in a sense of being obese because I was an athlete. So my weight was coming from the muscle that I was building by playing sports. I was in softball, volleyball, I played basketball. I even dabbled in soccer, I think, for a little bit. But I was a very athletic child. So it wasn't that I was gaining weight as far as fat. I was gaining muscle. But at that age and constantly being made fun of, you don't see that. As you can imagine, going into my teen years, I started feeling even worse about my body. I was hitting that age where you get a boyfriend, you go to dances in high school, you have friends, you have sleepovers, and you're envious of how they look, how they can wear certain size dresses and certain size clothes or certain styles of clothes. And that was when I fell into bulimia. I started having issues with eating food and hating food, but I knew I needed food in my body. So I would eat and it would be in my body no more than 30 minutes and it would be let out. I did very, very well of hiding that apparently throughout my entire life because nobody ever knew. In fact, I had somebody very important in my life when I was in high school come up to me and tell me how proud they were of the work that I was doing on my body and that they could see that I had been working out extra hard to lose extra weight. And that was my big eye opener of, oh, I can continue to do this and nobody's ever going to know. This progressed on until my late 20s. I was very heavy in my addiction and I was struggling really bad with not just my alcoholism, but my um, addictions. And I had at one point lost 80 pounds in 1 month. I was on a what I called at the time a liquid diet, where my calories were coming from the beer that I consumed because I was so heavily drinking. I thought that was okay. I also had limited myself to eating about a handful of goldfish crackers a day. And when I was that low, that was when I was also taking multiple forms of diet pills on top of not eating and drinking pretty much nothing but alcohol and water. And I lost 80 pounds. And that was the moment that I knew I needed help. So when I checked myself into treatment, I also let them know of my eating disorder. And I was watched very heavily with the amount of food that I was consuming and monitoring all of that, making sure that I wasn't going to the bathroom after I ate, just getting me right on the right track. And they were great about it. They did wonders. They helped me a lot. They helped me realize that I was killing my body in ways that I had no clue. But at this point, I had been in this mental illness for around 15 years. So I had done 15 years worth of damage to myself, all because I wanted to be accepted by society or what society thought was hot. It took me a long time to realize that this wasn't okay. This wasn't the way that life is supposed to be lived. And it took me a long time to finally love my body. Now, don't get me wrong. There are days where I look at myself in the mirror and I think, ugh, I look like a hobo that just crawled out of a ditch. Because sometimes I feel like it and I look like it, and I'm not afraid of that anymore. But it took me a very long time to realize that I am beautiful and I am capable of loving myself and loving the person that I see when I look in the mirror. It is hard. It is hard sometimes to do that, especially when you just can't, for the life of you, look at yourself in the mirror and say, you are beautiful. But even in those hard times, I look at myself and remind myself that I have children who look at me and they tell me every day how beautiful I am. I have a husband who tells me I'm beautiful. If they see it, then I can see it too. It may be hard, but I'll see it. The thing with beauty is nobody's version of beauty is ever the same. Somebody can look at a picture of a celebrity and say, oh, they are so beautiful, they are so stunning. And somebody else can look at the same picture and say, no, they have this wrong with them, they have this wrong with them. And then that celebrity themselves can look in the mirror and say, oh, well, this is what's wrong with me, this is what's wrong with me, and so on. We're never all going to see the same thing when it comes to beauty. And it's all because of how we perceive what beauty is. To me, I don't see what my children and my husband see, but that doesn't mean that I will look at my kids and tell them that I'm not beautiful, because I don't want them having the same thoughts in their heads that I had as a child growing up. I want my kids to walk with the most confidence in the world. And yeah, to some people, my kids might not be beautiful, but you know what? They're wrong. No, no. I mean, that's their opinion. I know my children are beautiful, and my children know that they are beautiful. And that is something I will always enforce in them, is how beautiful they are. Because again, I don't want them struggling with anything like I did growing up. I know how hard it is, and I know my husband knows how hard it is because he, as a man, has also dealt with his own body issues. And we don't want them ever feeling that about themselves, that they're not good enough for anybody, because they're pretty great. It took me 33, 4 years to realize that I don't need the acceptance of everybody in the world. And that if I want to just throw my hair up in a ponytail someday and not wear makeup, that that's okay. That if I'm a little heavy right now because of the damage I've done to my body, that's okay. It's something that I'm working on, not anybody else. Nobody else is living in my body. It's just me. And it's hard to have that realization sometimes that other people's opinions don't matter, because we get opinions from every which way every day in our daily lives. So you kind of want the acceptance of others, but they don't live my life. And they don't know the struggles that I've been through. and what I have conquered in my life. So if I'm going to be heavy right now, yeah, I'm heavy. I'm It's something that I'm working on. Side note, that little thing that I'm spinning right there was supposed to make a tornado, but I couldn't get it to work that day, and I don't know why. So I struggled with it forever. I was going to show you guys, but it just did not work the way I wanted it to. Random, sorry, ADHD, big time. So, anyways, what I'm trying to get out with this is I am a survivor of sorts, I guess, against my own mental illness, which is bulimia and slight anorexia. I damaged my body in ways that I'm paying for it now. I have hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's, that could have been contributed to from my eating disorders. I deal with issues with my potassium because of my eating disorders. I put my body through hell and I never knew it until now. And here I am at 40 years old, still trying to make up for things that I put it through. It's a sad realization, but it's my life. I think I kind of veered off there for a little bit. I apologize. Basically, what I wanted to get across in this video is we don't all love our bodies all the time. It's hard to, especially when there are these unrealistic expectations that we're expected to live up to. Even at 40 years old, I see celebrities and I think, oh wow, I wish I could look like them. When I know that there it's not going to happen, but that's just life. We see on TV, we see in movies, magazines, not so much magazines anymore, I guess, but social media, everywhere. You see these beautiful people and you just aspire to be like them. You want to have the world at your feet, just wanting to be this beautiful being. But one thing, as I've said in the video, one thing I've learned is my idea of beauty and even your idea of beauty will not always be the same. I had to swallow that one pretty hard because it's hard to look at yourself in the mirror and try to find something that's beautiful about yourself. Every day when I wake up, I shower. Well, I try to shower as soon as I wake up, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. But when I shower, I clean off the mirror, and as I'm brushing my teeth, I'm looking at myself in the mirror, trying to find one thing about myself that I love. Sometimes it's harder than others. I usually, and this is going to sound so dumb, usually I say, I love your eyes because I love my eyes. My eyes are stunning. I got my dad's eyes. But I try to find just something, whether it be, hey, my hair looks good today, or, oh, my smile's not too bad today, or, oh, my nose, just something. I even have a little sticker on our mirror so that all of us in the house can read it every day, and it says, love your body or something like that. I can't remember. I read it every day, but I cannot for the life of me remember what it says at this moment. And there is something beeping. Apologies for that. But anyways, I try to enforce body positivity on everybody in our house, even my husband. I tell him, "Hey, your butt looks nice today," or something like that, because I don't want any of us feeling like we're trapped in a body that we can't love. Because as I told you, I have struggled with that my whole life. Same for all of you. I'm actually going to challenge you, every one of you. When you get up in the morning and you go look in the mirror, find something. Find something about yourself that you can just look at yourself and smile and say, I love that about me. I love that my ears aren't straight. I love that my eyes just look a different color today. I love that I'm happy. I love that I've got this little flab that reminds me that I gave birth to 3 little ones that are upstairs. Just find something about yourself every day that you can be proud of. Remind yourself how beautiful you are, because sometimes it's not that easy. But I'm here to tell you, you're beautiful. Whether you want to believe it, you're beautiful. So, with that, we're going to do the little wrappy-uppy thing. I don't want you guys having to hear this thing that's beeping any longer. So, for those of you who have not yet, be sure to subscribe, like, hit that little bell, and make sure to share. Share my page, share my videos, because maybe there's somebody else out there who needs to hear how beautiful they are. Because maybe they don't feel it today. But, all right. As always, you're gorgeous. Whether you want to believe it or not, you're gorgeous. You're amazing. And the world needs you. Don't ever forget that. Don't forget to love yourself and, I don't know, pass on a word of encouragement to somebody else as you're at the grocery store or the doctor's office. Tell that woman sitting in the corner just looking like she's having a day how beautiful she is. Tell the barista making your coffee how beautiful he is. Just tell everybody how beautiful they are. All right. Hope you guys have a great rest of your... No, have a great weekend. All right. Love you. Bye.